All right, all right, all right. We are back once again with the Ill Behavior. This is the Ill Bill, and welcome to the Jill with Bill show. Hey, look, Thanksgiving, holidays, you know what I mean? We've been chilling, having a good old time. So I ain't done nothing, Nathan, nada for a minute. And you know what? It feels good. It feels good. You know, I still been watching and listening, so I'm obviously up on all the craziness that's going on. But it feels good to kind of unplug and not be trying to keep up with the rat race. You know what I mean? But yo, we got so much we got to go over, and we gonna do how we normally do with one of my favorites. It's complicated. Let's get into it.
Do you think respect is something that should be given or should it be earned?
I think it should be given until one proves that they don't deserve respect.
Honestly, I'd say off the bat, I would say respect is just given because I like giving respect until like it reaches a point where I know that the respect isn't being reciprocated. So then it turns into being earned.
What's the difference between demanding respect and earning respect?
I feel like demanding respect is like really forceful and it's like it's harder to get it when you're demanding it.
Demanding respect is just like, you know, wanting somebody to do it just because you say so. Earning it is more like you're doing the actions that make people want to give you respect off tops.
People go about demanding respect in a very pretentious, non-authentic way where it just comes across as like being cocky. I think earning respect just looks like being a upstanding citizen.
Is demanding respect a sign of strength or weakness?
I believe it's a sign of weakness.
Why?
Because a strong man who is worthy of respect doesn't have to demand it at all. It's going to be given to him.
I'd say strength because a lot of people like nowadays aren't really respectful. So I'd say it's a strength for me.
It depends on how you're going about it. If you're doing it in a way that's like showing that you're insecure, then no. But if you're just the way that you enter a room demands respect, then I think that's different.
Do you believe that trust should...
There's a difference between demands respect and commands respect, right? When you walk into a room, if you got that posture, you got that masculinity, you know what I mean? You got the social status, whatever it is, right? All those things combined, you walk into a room, you command respect, right? Like that is, it is given to you by how you present yourself and what your presentation is. Demanding respect is like dictatorship shit. You know what I mean? Like, you will do this or you will suffer the wrath of Khan.
To be earned or given until proven otherwise?
I think in most relationships you kind of earn the trust like by getting to know each other, and then in certain situations you may have to earn it.
Can trust ever be restored once it's broken?
I feel like not fully, but yes.
It depends on what the person did, but most oftentimes no.
If trust should be earned, why should respect be given?
If trust should be earned, why should respect be given?
Respect should be given because there's a million situations where you need to have people in your life that do good things. If you don't have respect for the people around you, nobody will respect you. So, and trust is like something's like if you never trust anybody, nobody will ever trust you either. So I think it's kind of like a give and a take. It's a personal journey for each person.
We're all kind of going through this similar stuff as, you know, being in these bodies and living on this planet and stuff like that. So I feel like respect is just something that by default should be given everyone. Trust is different because trust can leave you open for being hurt. So I feel like that's why trust isn't something that you should just give to everyone.
There's like a certain level of respect that I believe you owe every human being on the planet, right? When you first meet with them and interact with them, you know, and then from there adjustments can be made, right, based on said interactions and future interactions because you know it's quick that people be losing a brother's respect. You know what I mean? I don't play with the BS, right? I imagine most of y'all don't either.
Do you think anybody just deserves respect without earning it?
No, I don't think so.
So why do so many women think they just deserve respect without earning it?
That part, so like men are different maybe than women in this aspect, right? But if you walk into a room with a bunch of men, whatever that situation happens to be, unless you're walking into something seedy, I think we all kind of give each other a certain level of respect in the beginning. You know what I mean? We don't talk to each other crazy. It ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't no assumptions or whatever. But then quickly men tend to size each other up in those situations, right? Now, if he's talking about the difference between the respect of a man or a woman for a man, that is different because in a relationship, that's how most men receive that. Oh man, I hate using this word, but women love using this word. Love language, right? Love language. I hate that word, but what are those words? Whatever. But the point is if you believe in that, right? The way that one expresses love, or should I say, receives love, right? The way it is expressed to them. Women, their love language or whatever could be like, touch, gifts, affection, attention. You know what I mean? There's like a million different things, right? But for a man, and y'all would have to, if you disagree with me, put it in the comments. But for a man, I believe respect is at like the very top. Like, you can't love me if you don't respect me. You know what I'm saying? We can't even get to that, nowhere near to that point. You know what I mean? If you don't respect me. And if you show me respect on a regular basis, there's no bullshit, there's no disrespect, no ad hominems or something like that. That's how I feel love, right? And I assume that's how most men feel love. And if you don't respect a man, nothing else you do is going to matter. No amount of gifts, no amount of cuddles or fucking head holds or whatever, right? No amount of any of that shit is going to change the situation if the respect isn't there from the gate, right?
I don't know. There's a large ongoing sense of entitlement in that area of existence. Women just want to feel entitled to everything. I mean, a lot of women do deserve to be treated, with respect, but to
every woman deserves to be treated with respect. Initially, as long as she remains respectful and there's no issues, then that respect not only does it maintain, but hopefully it builds, right? You build more and more respect for a person over the time that you get to know them and the interactions and all these things, right? But initially, everybody owes each other a modicum of respect, right? I mean, all humans, earth beings, right? We need to respect each other, at least,
off top, respect them flat out is like, that's two different things.
I think there are levels to respect that people do have to earn. Like, you can't become like a police officer, like the president, unless you have certain credentials that give you that respect to have that title.
Why do women think that chivalry is just about basic mutual respect as opposed to a one-way servitude towards women?
I think it's because it's how women are brought up and what they're taught, how to be treated by a man, not how to treat a man.
I don't know. I think women confuse respect, just like basic respect, with not being chivalrous. But I don't know. It's just something that's not really required anymore.
Chivalry is just a term we use when we're talking about men doing the gentleman thing for a woman, opening the door, pulling out their chair when they sit down, paying for dinner, all that type of things. Like, basically proving that you're a provider and that you're, you can take care of her. Like, that's kind of like a natural essence of a gentleman, and that's why it's people, like, when they say chivalry, they think of a gentleman doing that for a woman. But I feel like it could be done both ways. It's just, if the woman is willing to do that, on her own, like, just say, hey, let me get that for you or whatever.
So chivalry, right, is the patriarchy at work, right? I mean, that is what chivalry is, right? It's the patriarchy. It's the man, right, above the woman, right? Because chivalry existed because women didn't have no money, you know what I mean? Didn't have no income, didn't have their own places, you know what I'm saying? So when a man showed up, opening the door, she was a a symbol, not an item. I'm about to have a Freudian slip, right? No, I mean, like, a woman was soft and she was precious, right? And so, man, not only, paying and stuff and picking her up in his vehicle, you know what I mean, or doing these things, but the I used to remember in the old movies, he'd take his jacket off and lay it in the puddle so her feet wouldn't get wet or dirty or whatever. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that, right? These are acts of a man showing a woman, hey, I can take care of you, right? Like, because women were usually passed from their fathers to the man that they ultimately married, right? And that's how those families, came together. We don't do that no more. We don't do any of that no more. Most of these women getting married today, if they are getting married today, they ain't being given away by their fathers, right? Most of the time. And fathers aren't vetting the men, right? They're not going from father's house to husband's house, and husband's paying for everything and working and providing and doing all these things, right? Like, we got independent modern women now. So what does independent mean? It means independent from a man, right? So should a man show these acts to a woman? You know what I mean? Should we continue to do these things from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, right? When women are independent of men? The problem is nowadays women see that stuff as sucker shit. Like, which is so weird, right? Like, who taught women that that if you hold the door open for her, or if you were to, well, I ain't throwing my jacket in the puddle. Look, let's walk around, right? Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to do that. But like, open the door, or, you bringing flowers, or you doing whatever. Like, who taught women that this is sucker stuff? Oh, he trying too hard. Like, no, he's trying how men were taught to try for years and years and years and years. Don't do this, by the way, men. Don't do this. I'm just saying, like, chivalry was designed because of the patriarchy. So are we fucking with the patriarchy or no? I can't tell anymore. I can't tell.
If chivalry is just about being polite, wouldn't it be polite for women to do all those same things for men?
It would be, but I think it's more about than just being polite. I think it's about asserting your dominance and asserting dominance. It sounds so weird to say it like that. I think it's just, I don't know if it's about being polite or if it's just about that's just what men are supposed to do. I don't know.
Do you believe it's a man's duty to respect a woman regardless of how she treats him in return?
Definitely
No, I think if somebody is disrespectful to you, you just don't deal with them, no matter what. Even if they're a woman that you're into, if they're treating you badly with disrespect, don't return disrespect, just don't deal with them.
No, I think that you should stand your ground, because I think even if you feel uncomfortable, that woman's going to respect you if you stand your ground anyways.
What does the behavior of
Maybe.
approaching a woman respectfully look like?
I feel like it goes both ways with a man and a woman, just like not being weird or uncomfortable, making things uncomfortable.
Calm, cool, collected. Don't.
That's what it means to approach respectable. Don't be weird. Don't be weird, right? Fellas, you can't be weird.
Say anything that's considered disrespectful, like maybe calling them baby when you don't know them or something like that,
Does a man have to risk being offensive in order to shoot his shot?
Yes.
Risk being offensive? I mean, it just depends on person to person. I'm sure there are things that could happen to me that wouldn't offend me, but could happen to someone else that could offend them.
I would prefer for you not to say something to make me mad in order to shoot your shot. I mean, I usually don't really shoot my shot at a person, so
Right.
if I do it, it's because I'm doing it in the most respectful, sweet.
Man, most women don't shoot their shot. Like, if they do, then yeah, watch out for that guy, because he's probably
way possible.
Is it fair to put men in this position and then shame them when it goes wrong?
No.
I'm just meeting you right now. How could I ever possibly know what offends you? I just gotta
Exactly.
give the chance to speak with you and see from there.
However, don't forget, I mean, there are some generally accepted as offensive things that one could say. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you could walk up and, to, hey, man, your booty is fat, baby. But, and maybe somebody might go for that, right? But if it's only like 2 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 would find that kind of disrespectful on a first encounter, maybe you should stay away from something like that. You know what I mean?
How good looking does a man need to be in order to get away with being offensive?
I hate this because
Tremendously good
it's
looking.
happened to me. Like, they're really handsome, so you let them get away with murder and stuff like
Yep.
that. But you shouldn't let them.
But you
just
do.
because they're handsome.
But you
handsome
do.
men have tons of leeway. They get away with a lot.
pretty privilege. I feel like I've seen a lot of people talk
And it works both ways. We know that the finest women out there get away with the most horrible shit, right?
about pretty privilege, but handsome privilege is a real thing. I do believe I have a little bit of that, and I know I can. What it is you don't get offensive
Come on,
with the
Brian.
woman, right? But honesty is sometimes really offensive to women. So when you're just being an honest guy, that can, rub them in a.
There's a difference between being honest and like vulgar or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you could, I don't advise it, but you could say like, "Oh, you're beautiful," as opposed to, "Dang, ma, you looking, you look good today." You know what I mean? Like I don't know. However you say it, she might take it differently.
Offensive way, but you could get away with that if you got some handsomeness to you, for sure.
How is a man supposed to know what offends a woman, and why should he care when the outcome is uncertain?
I feel like we all generally know that if you wouldn't say it to your mama, don't say it to her.
Would you say it to your mother? That's the answer. Like, would you say that to your mom? You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
You ain't my mama, and quite frankly, the things that I would say to my mama, and like, they wouldn't go to you. Like these women out here, you can't listen to what they say because that's not what they respond to. A lot of women like to be talked to a little dirty. You know what I mean? They like it when you come a little aggressive, right? And put it on them. You know what I mean? They prefer that pressure, right? Like that if you soft, which is how I'm talking to my mama. I ain't put no pressure on my mama. That's nasty.
You can't be asking questions that you would not ask your mom. Like, that's what it comes down to.
No, exactly. Like there are many questions that I could ask a woman that I in no way ever asking my mama. You know what I'm saying? Even in the first encounter, depending on what she looked like and her attitude and where it's going, right? Like,
But is a man trying to date his mom?
exactly.
That's not the point. It's like, you're respectful to your mom. You should be respectful to all women. Doesn't matter. You're obviously not going to tell your mom you have a fat ass, but that's the point. Like, you're not going to come to a girl on the street and be like, "Hey, you got a fat ass." We don't.
Yeah, but I bet you if he looked good, I bet you if the boy looked good, he cleaned up everything and he steps to you and you're like, "Man, yo, you looking sexy. That thing is booming back there." Like you she gonna be like, oh, you silly.
I don't want to hear that.
Why do women often complain about men being disrespectful when the things that offend them are totally up to her discretion and can be polar opposites?
It's just case by case basis. Like I'm sure like some women would be offended by something whereas another one wouldn't. You just kind of have to put yourself up in that position to be offensive to someone, I guess.
Rather than complain, why
shoot
don't
your
women
shot.
step up and set the example? Like, why don't women start approaching men rather than complain about how men approach them?
Oh man, I ain't even got to hear what she about to say. Women don't approach men because they don't want to be with the men who they got to approach. Women want to be chased. Like that's the bottom line. If she has to do this, if she got to chase you, like automatically that's putting her in this kind of zone. You know what I mean? Like now that's what the approach. Now it's a after the fact, you know what I mean? Like if you're hard to get, she gonna want you, especially after you hit them skins, right? But in the initial interaction, like a lot of women don't feel like that, you know what I mean? Unless you're, like you got a section going, you know what I mean? You and your boys, y'all spending a bunch of cheese and she's out, whatever. Then she gonna step, you know what I mean? She gonna step, or maybe she see you from like around the way. But in general, like just out in the world, you know what I mean? At your grocery stores or whatever, like.
I mean, it depends on your boldness level. I'm not really the type of woman that's bold, so I can't really speak for other women.
I mean, with them eyelashes, really though, I'm not the type of woman that's bold. With them eyelashes, look at them. That's a bold statement right there.
Speak for other women.
Look at them.
As a woman, you get this slight celebrity status everywhere you go because everyone wants to look at you. Everyone wants to see you and do certain things to you. So they get kind of an air about them. I was like, okay, this is how I would like to be approached, and this is not the way I'm being approached. And they're projecting that approach to themselves. They're attracting it to themselves even if they don't like it. So it's like they have to be able to accept the fact that if I dress like a whore, I'm going to be treated like a whore. If I don't.
And it also depends on where you at. I mean, a lot of these girls, they be having hella just meat hanging out. You know what I mean? They just blow, and that, you know, there ain't really a lot going on there. So yes, and you're gonna get treated like that because and don't, oh, I should be able to wear. No, dummy, you shouldn't. Like, you don't have a right to wear your titties or your ass hanging out in the street and to not be approached by dudes. Get real. Like, I hate it when women say this. Like, if you don't want to be approached by these guys talking like this or doing, like, put your shit away. You know what I mean? Like, most fellas ain't walking around like that. Although they'd probably go to jail.
If I dress modestly, I'll probably be treated modestly, and not a lot of them get that.
What would you say to nice guys who would say that they never want to be dominant in a relationship out of respect for the woman?
I respect them for that. I mean, if
Shut
that's
up.
what you want to do, then
Yeah, you respect them for that, but you ain't gonna give him no box, though. You ain't gonna give him no box.
period.
I'd say that
and
you need to get out of your cuck truck, bro. Like, come on, man.
I'm the leader, you know, and if you will allow me to lead you, you will be my companion. But, you know, if you want to be just because you want to be nice and it's out of respect, like, that chick's not gonna respect you too long, bro. When you making her wear the pants.
Does a man typically have to be macho to be respected?
No. But I feel like now, kind of, yeah.
I don't think men have to be macho to be respected. I think that's just like our TV screens make us think that kind of stuff. But I think the most stoic men that are silent but also like reserved are the most masculine to me.
I think that's a misconception. I think that's the difference between a masculine man and an alpha male. I feel like an alpha male is always chest up in the front, trying to be the hero, screaming, telling everybody the orders. But I feel like a real masculine man is just like, you know, waiting for them to be done screaming, and then we actually gonna get the job done. So I don't think you got to be all macho to be a masculine man. I feel like the macho just comes from that idea of being an alpha male, like a hero or something.
Doesn't that place the man into a category where he's supposed to take abuse to be a man?
Ooh, that's hard. No one's supposed to take abuse to be anybody, but I think people have that mixed up. Yeah, people have that really mixed up.
The entire world abuses men regularly in order for us to progress in life. No matter what it is that you do, men, like your body is going to get abused, your mental is going to get abused, right? Your emotions, right? Your health, right? Like most men, right? The ones that laid the roads and built the bridges and the buildings and the electricity and the water and the food supply and all the freaking clothes that you wear, all the textiles and the furniture. Like, these men here, okay, the military men, you know, like whatever, right? Police, like these men go through some serious trials and tribulations. We get beat up, okay? We get beat up. The guys who are just sitting at home streaming on Twitch playing video games, I mean, what adversity have they faced? You know, are they considered masculine men?
Just because you're a man doesn't mean that you're supposed to take anything from anyone. In fact, I feel like a real man wouldn't.
In a way, it puts men in a category.
You know, see this take, what she says is take from anyone. Like, that's not what that means, right? As a man, you are tested every single day. As a masculine man, you are really tested every single day. I mean, you don't have to get beat up. You could just own a company with a gang of employees, right? And you're going to have to go through these trials and tribulations on a regular basis, right? Like, you're tested as a man. And the more you are tested, probably the more manly you become, because you become knowledgeable and you become aware when you have this history, when you have this background information, you have experience, right? Like, that's what happens to men. I don't know. I assume to some degree it happens to women too.
To be the protector, the fighter, the thing that holds down the fort. You know, like if something's going down in the house, I'm gonna go get up. She gonna go cuddle the babies while I go take care of an intruder or something like that.
Most men today.
That's what your job is as a man. You know, so
most
it's
men
not
today.
it's not like, oh, we got put in this place to take a bunch of pain, because women take a bunch of pain. They bear our children. So it's like it's pain all around. We all getting pain.
Oh my God.
But as far as getting physical,
This guy, that was just some simpy stuff you just said right there, man. Like, yes, some women birth children, right? Like 1 or 2 is the average, less than 2 is the average nowadays, right? So one time in life do they go through some physical pain, right? Like, I've been kicked in the nuts way more times than that, right? I've been in fist fights, I've been pounded, I've been kicked on the floor, right? Like, I've had broken knuckles from beating in people's faces, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been hit by a car before, right? Like, men, I mean, I'm not saying that women don't go through these things, right? But like, okay, for instance, my hands are calloused. I got even right now, I got a blood blister, right? My hands are calloused because I work on cars, right? And so I'm constantly turning a wrench. And for half of the year, it's in the fucking cold, right? And so racking your knuckles against cold steel or aluminum hurts, man. Cuts. I had last 2-3 months ago is so much better now. I busted one of my fingernails and the whole thing blistered. There was blood underneath it, the whole thing, and it fell off. Right, it took a while and it hurt like hell the whole time. Right, eventually it fell off. Now I have a new nail. It's done grown in like a chameleon or whatever. But the point is like, and it's just working. It's just working. We go through a lot of pain, man. A lot of pain.
physical and protecting something, that's meant for the man.
What's the difference between being masculine and just acting like an adult?
That's pretty much the same thing. Being an adult and the responsibilities of being masculine are almost the same. I think the difference is, that's a tricky one, man. I don't know.
If that's the case, if being an adult and the responsibilities of being masculine are the same, does that make most women masculine, or does that mean that most women aren't adults? Think about it. That's crazy.
I'm not sure.
I don't think there is a difference. I think an adult, if we're going to say, taking care of your bills, taking care of your responsibilities is masculine, then everybody should be masculine.
So what's the difference between being feminine and acting like a child?
Well, I think, that's good. So I think being feminine and acting like a child, femininity to me is just being like, soft, not soft. Yeah, I guess soft. You're not supposed to act like a 5-year-old. That's not femininity to me. It's just having class and grace and elegance and being a lady to me.
Because
I will say that there are not many. I don't know, maybe there's more than I know. I only know a few women who are naturally feminine and they still pay their bills and they operate with class, right? But these are like a teacher or counselor or somebody in retail, they just, work a nice job and pay their bills, right? But they're still soft and, very, not, meek, quiet, pleasant to be around,
Because a true feminine woman isn't childish. You know what I'm saying? And that's a major thing to realize, is that a real woman that's in her feminine energy isn't exactly childish. She's more motherly than childish.
So do women want partnerships or daddy-daughter relationships?
They want sugar daddies, dang it. Why would I work if I can be pretty?
Exactly.
Does a woman have to be feminine to be respected?
No.
Can a woman be prissy or a tomboy and still be respected?
Yes.
So who's more held to a standard, men or women?
Both of us, all of us are held to a standard, which sucks. And it probably is because this is not the natural way of living, like in cities and stuff with going to work. And it's probably just a byproduct of all of that stuff that we do that is so unnatural to our own selves that it's caused us to have an unnatural rift within men and women as well.
Should our respect for people be based on their humanity or their behavior?
Based on their behavior.
Mm-hmm. Would you agree that it should be based on their humanity until their behavior proves otherwise?
We're all human.
So, and that's what I was saying, right? Like, you owe every person like initially a certain amount of respect, you know what I mean, as just for being a human being, but then based on how they like operate and move, that will quickly change.
So if that would be the case, then everybody would have all sorts of perfect respect. We'd be living in a perfect world. But it's everybody has behavior. So it's like if you have horrible habits and horrible behaviors, you're going to be treated horribly. If you have good habits and good behaviors, you'll be treated well.
So why do so many people think they just deserve respect based on their identity regardless of their behavior?
People have that mixed up as well. People don't understand that while you have respect living as this base person, this base human beings on this planet, you deserve respect, right? But if you're doing something that's just shameful, we should shame and not respect what you're doing. We can separate.
I'm just going to say it's because fathers aren't in the home anymore, right? I mean, who's supposed to teach you about respect? Who, right? Like, mothers teach you about a lot of things, right? But accountability, respect, you know what I mean, integrity, these things are supposed to come from your father. And if he's not there, then, you know, what's
Actions from people, I guess.
So isn't respect something that's
then
earned?
everybody just thinks, oh, you need to respect me. You need to respect me, right? And it's like, again, you owe everybody a certain modicum of respect, you know, until they prove otherwise, or, you know, they earn more respect from you, right? But in relationships, I mean, if there's no respect, there's no relationship. Right?
It's something that is given and returned. If I give you respect, you're going to give me respect. And if you don't give me back respect, then you're not going to get back respect. It's something that, it's like a leap of faith. You've got to give respect to get respect.
Is there a difference between not respecting somebody versus disrespecting somebody?
Yeah, if I don't respect you, I'm gonna ignore you. I'm gonna like
fuck with you
passively
at
be
all.
like, okay, I don't like this guy. I see what he does. I'm not a big fan. And if he comes over to talk to me, I'm gonna be like, look, man, go away. I don't like you. This is why I don't like you. I don't have that kind of respect for you. Disrespecting someone is like, I see you. Now I'm gonna go and mess with you. I'm gonna bully you. And I'm gonna make sure you know how much I don't fucking like you every time I see you. That's being disrespectful.
Disrespecting somebody by, like, calling them outside of their name or stealing from them and stuff like that, yeah.
Isn't one passive and neutral while the other is hateful?
Yes.
So isn't disrespect also something that's earned?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, disrespect could be something that's earned, right? You could behave a certain way and then somebody starts disrespecting you. But don't forget, there are people out there who just blatantly don't just have disrespect for people, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Somebody has to do nothing and they still behave disrespectfully, right? Because maybe they've been brought up with no consequences. They don't understand their actions, right? The interactions that they don't have. Maybe they think differently, right? A lot of people's brains are just wired just differently in general, right? Like they think that they can just say and do whatever to people regardless of what that person has done to them in the past or not, right? So you just got to be on the lookout for that. But you know, hey, it's complicated, man. They always ask the good questions. I don't know about this one, but you know, respect your fellow everybody, you know, at least until they show you otherwise, right? Don't disrespect them. You don't have to respect everybody, especially if they show you some bullshit, but don't disrespect them. Hey, look, I'm the Ill Bill. Oh, shit. I'll let you guys later. Peace.